Okay guys, Married at First Sight UK Season 9, Episode 21, and here we are at our 4th commitment ceremony. And if you want to see what the pinnacle of a relationship looks like, look no further than Holly and Alex. The experts praised them for the great work they've done and how far they've progressed. And Holly said, yeah, don't give up everyone in your relationships. I can only assume that what we know about Alex now has been revealed after everything was shot. Because I personally, even looking at the show, there's something about Alex that I think he's got serious anger issues. But anyway, for the sake of this show, everyone thinks they're great, they're the best, and they've both decided to stay in their relationships.
You make me feel stunning.
Aww.
And you make the best cups of tea ever. So, for that reason, my darling, I'm going to stay.
Wonderful. Over to you, big man.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying getting to know Holly more and spending time with each other. We just have the best time, and there's no reason why she shouldn't be 1,000,000% confident in who she is, because everybody loves her, you know, and she's a great girl. So,
Alex.
No brainer. Stay.
Now, we've had a bit of back and forths with couples getting ready for this commitment ceremony. Richelle, of course, getting her licks in again with Orson and, you know, driving the knife in again. It's getting really boring now. But hopefully today they're going to end it, I hope. Now, what we also have here is Ryan and Shannon and them talking about their little tiff, and then Ryan going on about how Stephen wanted to stick it, as Holly said, on Shannon. And we're going to see now whether Stephen's going to acknowledge that he actually behaved like that, or whether it's just going to suddenly peter out and mean nothing.
Can you elaborate as to why?
Holly came over to me and said, Stephen had said, if Ryan doesn't come to the dinner party, he's going to shoot his shot. So now I couldn't trust you with my wife.
So Holly, when did you hear Stephen say this?
So before Ryan had come into the mixer, Stephen had shouted me over to him and he said, so obviously you know Shannon's my type. If Ryan doesn't come to the mixer tonight, then I'm going to stick it on Shannon.
I would never use the word stick it on because it's not what I use anyway.
You was going to try it on her though, yeah?
And you'll
come
see.
on. Was you going to try it?
If you got to let me answer. I would not have done that without speaking to you, and I've said that.
A blatant lie. You're the slyest guy I've met.
And I'm saying it.
Slyest guy I've ever met.
I would have spoken to you.
Of course you was. You're laughable, lad. I feel for that girl because you've been grilling her all this experiment and you have done exactly the same.
Do you have anything to say to
I don't
Ryan
live Paul. Let's leave it. I'm good. You keep it to yourself, mate. Just you keep your distance from me, I'll keep your distance, and we'll respect that.
I think that it could mean Ryan and Shannon perhaps don't progress any further. I mean, I don't know. I thought they were a great couple to start off with, but now I don't really see much of a connection there for some reason. Yeah, oh well.
Let's go first, Paul.
You want to go first? You've already started, go.
So this decision is very easy. Listen, I didn't expect this when I came here. I'm not one to hit it off straight away. And I said to her one day, I said, where have you been all my life? And this decision is absolutely very, very easy, and it's stay.
Okay. Shannon, hit us.
Ryan has made me feel so comfortable, probably more comfortable than any man has ever made me feel. Which is big. And you've made me this soppy mess that I don't know what the fuck's happened to me. So, obviously I'm going to stay.
All right.
Beautiful.
Have a great week.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Shannon.
Well, the Ryan, Stephen, Shannon thing did kind of die out in the conversation, kind of disappeared into the ether of that particular moment. But I got to say, guys, I'm very concerned about Ryan. He is pulsing with anger towards Stephen. You can even see him tensioning his face every time he looks in Stephen's direction. So I think that's a concern, and I think that Ryan's kind of anger will bubble over at some point. And even though him and Shannon decided to stay, and Ryan said he was really happy, I'm not convinced Shannon is. I'm wondering whether Shannon's just staying because she's a bit scared. I'm not sure about Ryan now. And I think, because he wouldn't accept anyone's opinion, he wouldn't listen to anyone explaining things. He was like, no, I don't want to talk about it, done, move on. And that's not really solving the problem. That's just harbouring it deep down inside and letting the kind of bitterness grow, which will obviously one day erupt. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that. Then we had Amy and Luke, and I had no idea that Luke was upset with Amy about her saying that she thought Nathan was the sexiest husband. I didn't know that it affected him.
You can appreciate that other people are attractive. Does that mean I can't have any friends with penises?
No, it's not that. I'm just saying that's how it affected me. Because then I'm thinking, is it because he's got that fancy jacket and fashion?
Right, so it kind of brings out an insecurity. Yeah. Would you say that it made you experience this situation in a jealous way?
Potentially, yeah. I do.
Okay.
And I feel a bit guilty for it. In my opinion, you are the most beautiful girl in this group, which is hence why I chose you. It was doubly painful for me.
It was just a game.
Fair enough.
I can see that it really hurt you. I think it might be worth you just reflecting away from this space about this conversation, and maybe you need some reassurance that actually you're her number one.
But one thing that did affect him was them having to deal with the drama between Hannah and Stephen. I think Luke is pretty fed up of having to deal with all that, and I think that spoiled the retreat for him. I get that completely, understand that. Nevertheless, they decided to stay.
Like to go first?
So we're still very early in our journey, and I do believe we can both work on things. So I've decided to stay.
And Luke, what's your decision?
This whole process about learning, isn't it? And things come in life to test us, I think. And, with Amy by my side, I feel ready to take that test. And I want to continue, I want to work hard for it, despite all those insecurities that I have. And I think you will bring the best out of me, Amy. So, despite all that, I'm staying.
And yeah, Luke talked about making love to his wife, not having sex with her. And I could see everyone's hands gradually move towards their faces as they all cowered in embarrassment. But you know what? There's something about Luke that I really like. They moved on to Polly and Adam, and we're still in the same territory with them. You said this about, you loved Stephen, you wanted Stephen. Polly coming back with, yeah, well, that's one thing I've done wrong, and you've done 10 million things wrong. It's like, oh.
But I'm not a PDA person, you know what I mean?
It's even when we're at home. Even when you leave to go...
I know, but that's because we've just had our first massive argument to the point where I felt betrayed. And I've said to you, the last thing I'm going to do now is want to give you a kiss when my head's been scrambled.
But that's not fair when it's taken us so long to get to where we are.
Of course, I know it's not fair, but...
Now I feel like I'm being punished for one comment I've made after the fucking 10 that you've made.
To me, it was a big comment. It wasn't just a jokey comment. It was a massive comment to where everyone else couldn't believe it.
Anyway, I got to say, Paul, the relationship expert, did say to Polly, you can't fall in love with potential, because Polly had said, you know what, I can potentially see what our relationship could be. And he's right. You have to fall in love with your partner, your spouse, future spouse, whatever, and you have to fall in love with them as they are, where they are, in the situation they're in. You know what I mean? You have to think to yourself, okay, if I marry this man, this woman, if they never change, am I going to be okay with that? And I think if the answer is no, they have to change to suit my agenda, then don't bother, because they may never change, especially men. I think when it comes to marriage, I think men find it much harder to change. I think they pretty much stay very similar. I think women can adapt, but I do think sometimes a lot of women get frustrated because men don't even make sometimes the slightest changes. Sometimes they're great, but sometimes they really aren't. Anyway, we're about to find out if Polly and Adam are going to stay together, and I think Adam might choose leave. Is he frustrated enough to do it? Because even though, right, there could be something there, I think Polly's eruptions are also a concern. Even if Adam does everything Polly wants, she still, I think, is going to have her moments where she erupts in anger, like she's done now at 2 dinner parties. And bear in mind, the first eruption had nothing really to do with Adam. It was about Eve and Charlie, so...
So I put stay.
Adam.
I did have a feeling that, did she say that to make me think, oh, I'm jealous, I'm going to try harder? But me personally, a comment like that more would hurt me and make me retract. I'm sorry if I can't give you what you want right now, but there is two of us here, and there's two people's feelings. And I know you want something, but then I need things as well. But there's definitely feelings there, otherwise that comment wouldn't have bothered me, I'd just been like, whatever. So I put stay.
Despite it all, Polly and Adam choose stay. I don't know, I was a bit disappointed, even though, to be honest, I don't mind them, but I just think, for me now, Polly's the red flag. Adam used to be, Polly's the red flag now. Anyway, they've chosen stay. Hannah and Stephen was, of course, a continuation of the great disaster. Now, Paul opened it up for a group chat to talk about Hannah's behaviour, but then also brought it back to Stephen quite cleverly and said, you know, you're saying Hannah did this and that with the guys, but then you yourself were trying to get it on with Shannon. So, you know, let's have a bit of balance here. Good thing too.
After I'm off to meet Orson with a few of the other boys, she just goes, Orson, why don't you hold my hand, to make him jealous? So the respect thing then just disappeared straight away, so walls went straight up.
So let's just figure this out right now. Hannah, were you trying to make Stephen jealous?
You can't make a guy jealous of you that doesn't give a fuck about you, so that's not what that was. It was just a bit of banter for someone trying to make me smile and trying to make me have a bit of a giggle. He didn't say one word to me after the commitment ceremony. He avoided me like the plague. He couldn't look at me. I don't feel like you can sit here and say that's the reason why you weren't trying, is because me and Orson had some banter because you checked out way before that.
All right, so now you're at the retreat. Did you stay together at the retreat?
No. We had an argument as soon as we moved into the lodge.
You both had an argument?
I wouldn't call it an argument.
No,
I'd call it an ambush and then I leave the room.
Okay.
Because that's what he does. This whole me and Orson having banter situation, you held onto it, didn't speak to me, stewed on it, then waited until we were in a room together, dropped a bomb on me, waited for me to react, because I do, and then you're like, see, that's why I don't really like you, and then you darted out the room.
Okay,
like, that's so toxic.
What was the bomb that was dropped?
That me and Orson were pissing around and having banter and pretending to hold hands.
Okay.
I said I'll try at the retreat, and I was trying to get into that headspace, but there was all this kind of stuff going on with Hannah and the girls or whatever.
Either way, you know, I kind of came out of it feeling a bit sorry for Hannah. I feel like Hannah maybe had a small grain of a desire to actually do something with the marriage. Whereas with Stephen, I did feel for him, but with his behaviour with Shannon and the way he kind of went from being grumpy and sour to suddenly almost rejoicing at the prospect of being able to get his hands on Shannon, I thought he was just not a particularly good person after that. Purely my opinion, of course.
So were you feeling that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Hannah discussed it, but it felt like she was like fairly flirty with Ryan.
I was just very vocal in saying to Hannah that I don't like how she's gone about things. I don't like what she said to certain people when we've all made her feel so welcome. And I called a spade. She deserved to know, so I told her. And then she started getting lippy to someone else. Just didn't sit well with me.
Right. I mean, this is interesting for us to know because that was happening, Hannah. But at the same time, Stephen, the whole, you know, you shooting your shot with Shannon, that's playing out too. It's ironic, don't you think?
Yeah, of course. Ironic, yeah.
But anyway, they both chose leave. So Hannah and Stephen, guys, are our first couple in this season to actually choose to leave in that particular way. No, they're not. What am I talking about? Eve and Charlie left, didn't they? Hannah and Stephen are our second couple this season to choose leave. Our second heterosexual couple to choose leave. There we go. No, they're not. They're our first heterosexual couple to choose leave. This is proving to be rather a difficult segment to get right, but it's very, very basic, Yaz. Anyway, never mind. What else were they going to do? They could not continue. I don't think Stephen is ready for another marriage, and I can't believe he kind of left his kids behind to come on this show. Why? I don't know.
My mindset is very much now I don't want to be your man. don't think you're in it for me. I think you're in it for a pro. I don't know what the reasons are and why you're here. So for those reasons, I'm going to leave.
Okay. Thank you. Hannah.
I think this is probably my opportunity to try and leave this process as amicably as I can with everybody. As much as whatever's happened, I do think deep down you are a good guy, and I do think you'll make someone happy. It's meant to be about marriage, and ours hasn't worked, so I am going to leave.
Now we have Kieran and Christina, and it would appear that Christina's PMDD, is causing a problem in the intimacy department. Maybe it means that sex is really painful for her for a certain period during the month. And maybe that period is longer than the standard menstruation period. I don't know. But I think he's struggling. And I get that. But this is where I see the process has a huge disadvantage. Because in real life, if you weren't marrying at first sight, you date someone maybe for a year or two, and during that process you can talk to them about conditions you may have, and then you can decide before you get to the altar whether you're okay dealing with that. Do you know what I mean? You can tell your future spouse, I have this condition whereby sex is normally very painful for me, so are you okay with that? Or do you desperately need lots and lots of intimacy? And at least then they have the option to say no if they need to, even though it's heartbreaking, but they say no before you actually get married. Now, I know in the show they're not actually married, but you get my point. You get what I'm saying. That's where the process is a bit shady. So we'll see. I personally don't think Kieran and Christina will break up, but I get exactly where he's coming from. She also has a cold sore on her lip, which has apparently been preventing intimacy also. So I'm wondering whether that's an indication of another infection that needs to go away before they can be intimate. I don't know. It's getting a bit graphic.
I'm not saying that I don't want to be with you, because I do. I want to give this as much as I can.
You're just not.
I've got questions. Of course, I think everyone in this room's got questions about their relationship, but I'm not saying I don't want to be with you. That's not what I'm saying here.
Something I haven't mentioned thus far, guys, is during all these bits and pieces of the commitment ceremony, every time the camera pans back to Orson and Richelle, you can just see Richelle thinking about the ammunition she's going to unload when it's their turn to sit down, which is surely coming up very soon. That woman is absolutely kind of ruminating with accusations to throw at Orson, I can just tell. Anyway, Kieran and Christina, well, you know what? Kieran is proving to be a really a true man here, and he's decided he's going to stay with Christina, even though he knows it's going to be difficult dealing with her PMD. And I really respect him for that, because that is a big step for someone to take, because it's clear that Christina's been perhaps brushed aside in her past by several men because of this issue she has. And for him to say, I'm going to persevere, I really do respect him for that, because it can be really difficult sometimes when you are in an intimate relationship with someone who has a condition that is something that will require more of you than would be normally expected within a marriage, etc. So
for that reason, I'm staying.
And Kieran.
This week you've shown us that you are there for us, even when I think no one can be there for us. And you've allowed us to open up in ways that I've never been able to open up in a relationship before, without being attacked. So I think that in itself speaks volumes about the person that you are. So thank you very much. And for that reason, I wrote stay.
well done, you guys. Now we have Nathan and Lacey. Of course, all good. They're staying. And I've said it before, but I do really like them as a couple. Although Lacey was admitting that she needs to be close to her mum, which is why she's not too keen on relocating. After the way her mum treated Nathan, I'm not so sure Nathan wants to be that close to Lacey's mum. But anyway.
We're happy with you, and that's why I've put stay.
Thank you, Lacey. Nathan, what's your decision?
So obviously you're going to take on board what you've said, and I feel the same way as Lace, so I'm also going to stay.
Excellent, thank you. Well done. Okay, guys.
Then we have Emma and Casper. Casper's quite prickly, isn't he? Because he talks about the kiss and then he says, oh yeah, but the kiss I felt like the girls encouraged Emma to try and make it lead to sex, and I wasn't ready for that, and I felt like I had a sales pitch for a kiss, and blah, blah, blah. He, to me, is almost talking like I would expect a woman to talk about a kiss, whereas Emma is almost acting a bit like a guy and saying she was hoping for sex. It's quite remarkable how you can have two such different characters.
You just got to sleep with him. If we get intimate, we're going to accelerate our relationship, and that's not how I go about things. I need the emotional side first before I get to the intimate side from someone, and we're still working on that, in my opinion.
And Michelle gave me some advice to get a kiss. Thought, right, I'm going, we're going in.
So you did have a kiss.
Yeah.
And how would you describe that experience, Casper?
I think she's a very good kisser. I can tell you that much for free.
So you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was a good kiss.
Yeah.
But there were comments made afterwards, after we just kissed, that were way too far forward and crossed lots of lines. She basically went, why don't you just write stay and then we can shout for a week? I mean, it wasn't the most romantic pitch I've ever heard, if I'm being completely honest. She scared him off.
I think that was just me exploring things.
But it was
I had a few wines, I got a bit excited.
It almost felt like sex was a sales pitch.
Yeah.
And that wasn't attractive for me.
Casper writing leave in the last commitment ceremony, although I expected it, it built a fight in me to want to work on things. And I think what I meant to say was, I think there are things for us to explore when it comes to intimacy. Now, I'm scared that Casper has ended this week the same headspace that he ended last weekend.
Viewing things in the opposite way that I would expect them to. So we're going to find out in a second if they're going to stay. Obviously, Emma wants to stay. Don't know if Casper wants to leave. I really hope he doesn't, because he seems to have progressed. I'm not sure Casper would be happy in any relationship unless he made changes in his own life. And I think he's made some changes with Emma, and I think he's getting there. And I think it'd be a real shame if it doesn't go any further than this.
And I think there are definitely things to explore with us. But I hear you. I would like to, spend some more time together.
We're still building on this. Emma and I, I think we deserve to keep having another shot at this for a little bit longer, see where we get to, because we have made strides. So for me, I wrote, stay.
Casper decides to stay, so Emma and Casper live to fight another day. Let's hope they don't actually fight. And carry on kissing. Or perhaps doing something a bit more, eh, Casper? If you can stand it. Sasha and Ross, they stayed together. Hard to believe that they've actually split up in real life. I can't believe that. What's really weird also is that Sasha hated the countryside. She said, it was like me finding out what hell is like. If there is a hell, that's what it's like, the countryside. I'm like, all right. I think the countryside is great. I love it. But Sasha clearly doesn't. And there is an irony here. For someone who doesn't like the whole intimate side of things and has been avoiding it, I felt Sasha was dressed the most provocatively at the thing today. She was dressed like a little schoolgirl wearing a really short skirt. And I kind of thought, surely your husband will look at you wearing that outfit and get ideas. But at the same time, you don't want to reciprocate. Because they implied they've been intimate, but I'm not really sure how intimate they've actually been. I don't think there's been much going on there. Because I just think, I don't know. I'm not buying it. Anyway.
Ross, over to you first.
I'll be with you every minute, and let's see what next week brings. I should stay always.
Lovely.
Well, that's how I was going to start my speech. We've learnt a lot about each other, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and you already know that. So I wrote stay always.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Let's forget about all that, guys. I want to talk to you about Orson and Richelle, because amazing breaking news. Against all the odds, they've decided to stay together. Ha! Rubbish. I mean, Richelle has waited for this moment for the whole episode. She is unloading her double-barreled Orson shotgun full of all these horrible things she's got to say about Orson. She's unloading cartridge after cartridge. And then we get more revealed. She said, And Hannah and Orson, they shared a kiss on the last night of the retreat, and he had a bromance with Stephen, and while he was having his bromance with Stephen, he was gunning for Stephen's wife. And then I walked in on Orson and Hannah and Holly and Alex having a double date, and now the room's just convulsed into, kind of squeals, while Alex says, no, that's not true, we were just having a drink. I mean, this is also exposing Richelle as being a bit of a dramatist when it comes to the truth and what is actually truth and what's lies. Because everything she said thus far, I just think, you know what, Richelle, you've said all this before, you clearly don't like Orson, but you're not prepared just to let it go. You want to keep digging him into the ground. And I feel like Orson has never had a chance to truly defend himself. Constantly saying you're a liar, you don't know the truth. Well, let him actually ask you, what lies are you talking about, and can I explain why you think they're lies, and can I either be exposed as a liar or as someone who is actually telling the truth and you're the liar? We don't know, and I don't know if we're going to find out, because there's a lot of arguing going on right now, guys.
A little bit to the commitment ceremony. I made it quite clear to him that I was ready to leave and I wanted to go back to work, and if I left I could get home in time for my daughter's 21st birthday. But when I re-entered the process after I left the first time, I'd said, like, yeah, I'm not going to leave again until we're on the same page. Orson said that he wanted to stay another week, which to me was a bit surprising because at this point I'd been very open and honest with him. I basically told him I don't think I'm attracted to you. I don't overly fancy you.
Wow.
Wow, what?
Continue.
Wow, what?
No, just continue.
The truth, I know that you don't have a great relationship with the truth, Orson, so it's okay.
Yeah, just continue.
So, I said to him, I think you're quite selfish. You basically have locked me in for another week. You've dragged me along for your experience when you know there's nothing there. Then on the day of the retreat, that was my daughter's actual birthday, I was like visibly, upset. And, Orson's making this big show of singing and enjoying himself, At this point now, I'm getting worked up. And I haven't even been able to wish my girl happy birthday. And he's singing in my face. And at that moment, I knew I could not stand him.
You couldn't stand me from before that.
I can't stand the sight of him.
So,
you knew I couldn't stand you before. Why did you want to stay?
You're the one that said you want to stay to work out. What if we're matched?
No, you are lying.
Yeah?
You
That's
are
exactly
lying.
what you said.
You are a
to find out if you
stinking
were
liar.
matched.
You are a stinking liar. Because I was the one who told you I wanted to leave. I was the one who told you that I wanted to get back for my daughter's birthday. So don't sit here and lie. All right?
So,
your lies don't work with me, Orson.
Are you finished? Can I speak now?
Stop. If you can tell the truth, try and tell the truth.
Okay, guys. It's very clear that things have completely broken down here. I'd like to hear from both of you where you believe the relationship is at right now. Awesome. Let's start with you.
There is no relationship right now.
Michelle.
At the retreat, Orson and Hannah have been bonding. And they have had talks about recoupling.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow, indeed. Orson's bagged himself. He's finally found his queen. That reinforced that Orson isn't really here for the right reasons. He's even had a little bromance going on with Stephen, while behind Stephen's back, Orson and Hannah were, talking amongst themselves, which continued once we returned from the retreat. And I walked in last night and found Orson and Hannah, Holly and Alex almost like, having a little double date set up. So all that did was reinforce.
We were all sat on separate chairs.
Chill with that business.
That's not what
Chill with that business,
Hannah,
Michelle.
zip it.
Exactly. Michelle,
Alex, shut up.
Michelle, don't do that. Michelle, don't do that.
No, I think it's bullshit because them two have lips.
They've what? Kissed. They've kissed. Him and Hannah.
Oh, you've kissed.
Him and Hannah.
The very last night of the retreat. You've been kissing him.
Wow, guys, well, that was quite a climactic ending there for this episode. So we had Orson and Richelle going off and obviously choosing to leave. But what was interesting was that argument then drove a massive, like a pin going in a balloon, kind of explosion into two other relationships. So we had Alex then telling off Lacey and Sasha about them, you know, talking about this kind of supposed date and what Orson had been up to.
Fucking snake, man. Snake, you.
Me?
Yeah, you. Where was the double date?
Say that. Have they not been sneakily kissing? I know you didn't, babe. It's a fixing. I'll tell them out.
Don't talk about no double date business. There was no double date business.
4 of them were in the apartment. Let me rephrase that, Alex.
Talking shit, man. I'm talking shit, man.
Alex.
Just getting fucking pissed off now.
You got something to say?
Don't.
asking if
Have you got anything to say to me? Don't do that to me, Alex.
I'm asking if you got something to
Alex,
say.
can you just
I don't think you need to turn to Richelle and say you're talking fucking shit and then get to Lacey, oh, you're a fucking snake. There's certain ways of addressing things calmly. Look, you know what, Richelle, it weren't a double date. This happened. You don't need to attack. And I've sat here and I've watched you attack the women either end and it's fucked me off because I didn't like it, Alex.
But he is
I don't
talking shit.
understand why
She
you
don't know
were
what
so
she's talking
angry.
about. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
There's just ways to address things, Alex. Don't take it out on me. I'm just trying to calm the peace in the room.
Who's taking anything out on you?
Please respect the
Oh
form.
my god, I'm about to. It's meant to be such a good night. Holly's annoyed. I told Lacey that I think she's a snake. And now you've got Sasha coming at me. Just be quiet. Your voice is just going straight through me. Like, if I was Ross, I'd be telling my wife, pipe down, not everything needs your 2 pence.
Alex has definitely overreacted and it has embarrassed me. I can't be with a man who treats my friends like that. Because if he's going to treat my friends like that, he can happily treat me like that.
Now, amongst all of the talking, it sounded like someone said you and Hannah have kissed.
Yes.
On the last night of the retreat, me and Hannah sat and was speaking and we shared a kiss. There was a little connection there. I'm not gonna lie, there was a little connection there. What I had was done. I know what she was in was done. Like, so honestly, I didn't feel like I was walking on anybody's toes or like disrespecting anyone.
The fact is that this is a process, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so if you don't want to be with someone, you both understand the rules.
Yes.
And the rules is that you make that decision here and you let us know.
Yeah.
It's not that you then go and kiss another person's wife.
I take that.
Bert's done it, mate. Calm. Love it.
Do you consider what you did an act of infidelity?
In this process, yes.
What impact did you expect that to have on Richelle?
If I'm being totally honest, Mel, and this might come across or sound wrongly, I didn't really care about Richelle in that moment.
At the end of the day, Orson, from when I said I didn't like you and I didn't fancy you and I didn't see a future with us, I mean, at that point, I thought you would have gathered up your dignity and wanted to leave anyway. You know, why would you have wanted to stay? I mean, I know I was trying to honour my word, but where was your self-respect and your dignity? Like, were you that desperate to stay in the process? Because what I'm sensing from Orson is a desperation to stay in the process by any means necessary. He saw an opportunity with Hannah to recouple and stay in the process. He jumped at it. You're an embarrassment to yourself at this point. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like Hannah, bless her, went round all the different guys trying to latch on to somebody, yes, to stay in the. And Orson is the only one who's stuck. It just reeks of desperation and just like, you know, no self-respect. It's just, I find it embarrassing. You know,
Okay, well, look, it is very clear that this relationship is done. We do need to go to the decision. Yeah. Awesome. To you first.
I came here with the right intentions. I feel like I was trying and trying and trying and trying. It was just like squeezing blood from a stone.
Stop the performance, Orson. Stop the performance. I beg you. Stop the performance. If it was that bad, you would not have wanted to stay. You know?
On that note, like, just get me out of here, please.
And to you, Richelle.
Before I came into this process, I asked for a strong, intelligent man who has a bit of integrity, and I haven't found that in Orson at all. I find him quite weak-willed. You really aren't as sharp as you think you are. It's pretty obvious, I think, to most people that you're a bit simple. He definitely lacks any shred of integrity. So 1 week too late, but it's obvious, leave.
There are certain expectations around respect. Some of those points of respect have been broken by both of you. By you, Richelle, not turning up to dinner parties, showing disrespect not only to Orson, but to everyone else here, including us and the experiment. Orson, kissing another person. The two of you are showing very low level of regard for this entire process. And that's something we don't take lightly. It's really disappointing. You can both take a seat.
Okay, thank you.
And then Alex being rude to them, and of course that's getting them angry. And then it also got Holly angry because she's like, well, Alex can't treat my friends like this because he will then, of course, treat me like this. So after Orson and Richelle had chosen their leaving and everything was over, we then had Alex saying to Ross, oh, can I talk to you a bit? And Sasha saying, no, you shouldn't be talking to him, you should be talking to me. And then Ross saying, I don't get involved in drama. And Sasha feeling like her husband was not defending her. So what's interesting is that in many ways we should be quite thankful to Richelle and Orson, because what they've actually done by leaving in such a dramatic way is exposed a couple of other relationships. Now Sasha and Ross, we know they break up in real life, but I wasn't expecting that one. But Alex and Holly, I'm so glad that it exposed that, because it needed to be exposed, because we need Alex's anger to come out so that Holly can see, you can't be with this guy, love, sorry, because he is seething. You can tell that if he wasn't surrounded by cameras and people, maybe it'd get even worse. Maybe he'd throw a chair or two, or punch out a window. Do you know what I mean? He's that kind of guy.
What you gonna do? I don't know what I told you to do.
If he's beefs with me, why is he talking to my husband? I don't know. Why does he want to talk to my husband, talk to me?
Fuck that. Yeah, fuck that.
Alex has just got an attitude problem. I can completely see where Holly's been coming from this whole time. I'm not going to tolerate it. Why is he going to talk to you and not me?
Damn it, babe. I'm getting involved into it. That's not my fucking problem.
Not your problem. So your wife isn't your problem.
No, I'm just trying, but I don't get in drama.
Oh, do you think I'm trying to get involved in drama? That's not what I'm doing, Ross.
I don't know what you can talk to me about. I don't know. What's that?
Right now it doesn't feel like Ross has my back, but we're married, I'm his wife. I would have expected Ross to say, don't talk to my wife that way.
I told you from day I don't get involved in drama.
But I'm your problem, Ross.
Of course,
I am.
But I'm not getting involved in all this shit. I defend.
Yeah, but it's not their shit, it's more than Alex's shit.
It's a shit, then yeah, I get that.
You should have your wife's back. Always.
I'll do it back 100%.
Always.
100%, yeah. Always, yeah.
My drama is your drama, your drama is my drama.
So what did you make of this episode, everyone? Did you enjoy it? What were your thoughts? Were you expecting this? Did anything blindside you? Had you seen lots of spoilers? Let me know. Let's talk. Let's dialogue. Tomorrow night looks like it's going to be another dramatic episode with some more crazy stuff happening. And I'm actually looking forward to it. I am. I'll be honest. Yes. Thanks as always for watching, and catch you again tomorrow.